What should we do?
Here's some standard operating procedure. My face is the last one to see, not Tony's. You understand each other? It won't be cinematic. It's over for the little guy.
But good to be here.
Do you mind starting off telling us whereabouts you're from?
Okay, I'm from Brooklyn, New York, born and bred, lived there for, 50 something years, and then moved to New Jersey for 14 years. Now I'm back in Brooklyn. Right now I'm in Sag Harbor, Long Island, in the Hamptons. So I'm a Brooklyn boy.
Oh, nice. You started off working with computers. How did you transition from that into acting?
It's a little bit of a long story, but bear with me.
Yeah.
I was very good at mathematics, and actually I was very good at almost everything as a young person. And what happened was in the era that I grew up, when Sputnik went up, money was given to students who were good in math and science. So I had scholarships to college, I had fellowships to graduate school. I followed a path of mathematics because I was good at it and I got money for it, and that's what I thought I wanted to be. At some point, I thought I would be an actuary. I didn't like accounting, but actuarial work. I passed a couple of tests, and I got a PhD on data processing and master's degree in operations research and a bachelor's degree in mathematics. And I went to work for Bell Labs, one of the best think tanks in the country. And I was a potential superstar. However, I didn't like it. I went to work there. I got married. I went to work. I went from, my day, we went from our mother's house to our wedded house. Everything happened within a month. And when I went there, I was very unhappy with being there. And I think I was unhappy with 9 to 5. Because I was an academician most of my life, and I didn't go to, you don't go to school that many hours, especially college and graduate school. So I didn't like 9 to 5. I didn't like working when it got dark, which changed when I became an actor, of course. And I didn't understand make your own work. I was used to give me homework, I do it, give me a project, give me something, and I'll figure it out. But so those were 3 elements I think led me to want to do something else. I never acted except in grammar school. I was the B in Ferdinand and the B. I was Clement Clark Moore. I was Tiny Tim in the Christmas Carol. I wanted to be Scrooge, but they cast me as Tiny Tim because I was 4'10", and I was a hand even then. I came out for the curtain call on the crutches, so that they gave me a standing ovation. So high school, college, no acting. Community, no acting. So I would go home every day and complain that I really hate this job. I hate this job. I hate this job. And it was kind of trying every day. And then one day I just woke up and said I could be an actor. I have when I was a child, my brother and my father would put us in the movies for 7 hours. In those days, you had 2 feature films, you had newsreels, you had cartoons, you had prelims, and we would be in the movies for 7 hours. And I would go home and play all the characters, but it had nothing to do with acting. I knew nothing about acting. I knew nothing about the craft of acting or the business of acting. So all I knew was what I saw, which seemed to be fame and fortune, but neither of them were the attraction. So I complained, and now the holidays came, and I'm Italian, so we don't do anything during the holidays. So the holidays come and go, and I come home and I'm complaining, and then one day I think about, and my ex-wife tells me, why don't you go study with Lee Strasberg? I didn't even know who Lee Strasberg was. So I made the phone call and I went down there and I was interviewed, and on the card it said experience. I left it blank. I gave it to the secretary, who was a wonderful woman. And she said to me, you didn't put down experience. And I said to her, excuse me, but this is so far from my life that I don't even know what I'm doing here. And she said later on, she always wanted me to go into a class right then. She thought I would never come back. And I promised her I'll come back. Because to me, you start work on Monday, schoolwork, And that's chapter 1. And then next week, chapter 2. And after 10 weeks or 12 weeks or whatever it is, you're an actor. You went through all the chapters. No idea of ongoing learning, no idea of anything about acting, nothing. So I live in Brooklyn, I work in New Jersey, which is about 40 miles away, and I'm going to Manhattan to go to my first class. Strasberg gave a lecture at Carnegie Hall on 57th and 7th in Manhattan. Now, I was so naive, I left New Jersey at 5 o'clock thinking I'd get a parking space in New York. I don't want to pay for parking. At 6 in and out. I did get a parking space actually on 6th Avenue and 57th Street. And I walked up the block, got to the corner, and there was the Carnegie Hall, got to the door, and I said to, and I remember this like it happened yesterday. I said to myself, what are you doing? This is so ridiculous. You're afraid to fail as a computer scientist. You're going off on a tangent. Well, you tell your friends you're an actor. What does that mean? It's so stupid. And I turned around, I started walking down the block. I got to the little Carnegie Theater, which is no longer there, next to the Russian tea room. And I stopped and I said to myself, you never made a decision in your life about your life. You always followed the path of mathematics because that's where the money was and that's where it led you. This could be your destiny and you could be kicking right out the window. And I said, you're right. This is a conversation with myself. And I turned around, I walked in, I listened to Strasberg. Next day, I had a sense class. Again, went to work during the day, going at night. And I walked in and I was a sheltered boy from Brooklyn because we live in little villages. I mean, people think New Yorkers are so, cosmopolitan. We're not. We go up around the church, around the synagogue. It's a little village, okay, that we live in. And the city is the city. It's far away. So I have no contact with other kinds of people except Italians and Jews and Irish. And there were no gay people in my neighborhood that I knew of. There were no Afro-Americans in my neighborhood. So my idea was that there were a lot of gay people in the show business, and I was, a little uncomfortable. So when I walked in, my teacher was like a burly man, and he looked like my father, who was a longshoreman. So I was comfortable. I sat down and I watched these 6 people on stage. It was a sense memory class, and 6 people seemed to be oblivious of each other. And there was one young Asian person that was doing a pain exercise, and I thought they should have called an ambulance because I believed it. And the 6 people sitting there, unaware of each other, I thought, and to me that was insanity. And I leaned back and I said, "I'm home. This is where I belong." And after that, the teacher asked me if I wanted to do an improv. His name was Ed Covens, and he taught me the basics of the method. I'm a method actor, and he said, "You want to do an improv?" I said, "No, I'll wait. I'm not going to get on the stage. I just got here." So I said, "No, you'll get up." And the improv was myself and a black girl were engaged. And the problem was her father didn't like me. And we're in Central Park on a swing. And all I could think of, and this is like I remember yesterday, all I could think of was my father, an Italian-American longshoreman, should see me engaged to a black woman. He would kill me, put a bullet in my head. And this is what I'm thinking about while I'm on the stage. This is what I knew about improv, nothing. So from that, it became my passion from the day I walked in there, and it still is. I love to act, and I'm sorry if I bored you with the long story, but
no, that's great.
That's a true story, and I remember it like yesterday. I really do. And that was in 1970. That was 52 years ago.
Wow.
So
that's an amazing story, though. Bet you're glad you took that route.
I am. I met a man one time. He was my. I'm a college professor too. My acting teacher told me never to quit my day job, so I never did. And college teaching is rewarded me monetarily as well as spiritually and emotionally. But one of my department heads was in music, and he said, one day he said to me, "I wonder what my life would have been like had I pursued it professionally." And I walked away saying, "See, I don't wonder. I know. I pursued it. It's a good thing to pursue your passion." And not to have any regrets or sugar in your life. And so that's a good thing. I'm very glad I became an actor. I love the craft. I love the passion of acting, the business. That's something else.
I did an interview with John Fiore, and he spoke really highly of you. He said that he had a great time working with you. That's the first time I've seen you. Yeah, he
thought he might kill me twice. We thought he might kill me twice. But what we would do is the two of us, we became very good friends. Of course, we did that first scene together where he shot Philly, and the good thing was every time we went to work, we were actually like mobsters. We were afraid we were going to die. We would say to each other, "You think I'm going to die? Are we going to die this week?" So every week that you got a job, you were very happy that you were still alive. And my goal and my dream was to be alive at the end, which I was.
Yeah.
I was one of the last men standing, which was something I really wanted. I didn't want to get killed. I mean, I got killed once, so don't kill me again.
That's enough. But that was amazing. Like, playing the twin, you get killed off, and then they bring you back for the long haul.
Yeah, that was. I'm the most grateful. Well, I can't say I'm the most grateful, but I am one of the most grateful people on the show. It's true. I got hired for 3 days in 1999 to play Philly, and I never asked Chase, but there's a lot of things that came together to make me become Patsy. And one of the things was when I got cast as Philly, they had already started shooting for the second season, and they had become a hit. Nobody knew they were going to be this big, tremendous hit that they became. So I auditioned in October. They started shooting the second season in August, and he doesn't flip around. He shoots straight through like a movie. I often never asked him, and I should ask him one day. I think he wrote Philly to summarize the first season for people who never, because Philly in 4 minutes tells you everything about what happened in the first season. Tony goes to a psychiatrist, his mother tried to kill him, blah, 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 blah. So it's like in 4 minutes, by the way, I'm Phillip Parisi. If you haven't seen The Sopranos this year, okay, here's what happened last year. All right, wait. And then they're going to blow my brains out. So just hang on. So I think we wrote that. So that's the first gift. We wrote this character became created just to because they became a hit. And he's the first new character introduced. Looks like he's going to have a big role, and he's dead in 4 minutes. But here's the other part of it. Every actor in America wanted to be on The Sopranos at that point, and for the whole run. And at that point, I got a job on The Sopranos with John Fury in the car, but I had the major monologue. I drove the scene. I was very happy. I had 3 days of work, and that was my soprano career. I was glad. So we do the shot, and we do it, and Alan Coulter directed it, and I asked him, Alan, can you think you can miss me with the bullet and keep me alive? He said, listen, sometimes good things happen to people who get killed in the show. I said, okay, all right, Alan, whatever you say. So
wow.
Chase and Naples with the cast shooting the Italian work in Italy. They came back, and this is a story that he's repeated himself, and they watched the rushes of mine and John's scenes. And John, by the way, John is a fantastic actor. He's a fantastic guy. He did a lot of work on Law and Order. He just was on Coda. He's always working, and he's a beautiful, beautiful man. We struck up a great friendship, and I was always very glad because when you work with other actors who they lift you up, okay? So you're a crafted actor, they're a crafted actor. Your acting just gets lifted, okay? And my hand keeps coming into the thing like an Italian, but I'll try to stop that. So anyway, so Chase comes back from Italy, and he's watching the rushes, and he looks at it, and he says to the screen, "Who's this guy? I don't want him dead. Who is he? I like him. I don't want him dead." And he turns to Terry Winter, and he says, "You can only use the twin card once." He said, "I'm going to use it on this guy." But before that, Alan Coulter was sitting with him, and Alan didn't hear the thing about, I don't think he heard the thing about the twin card. So Alan calls me up at home, and he says, "Danny, I want to tell you something. Chase watched your work. He loved it. He said, I don't know if it matters one way or the other, but I think actors should hear when people really like their work. And I wanted to praise you and tell you that Chase really loved what you did." And when I got off the phone, I was a little angry. My oldest son, Michael, was there, and he overheard the conversation, and he said to me, "Dad, why are you upset?" I said, "Michael, I love the praise. It's good. I'm very happy that people praise my work, but I want a job. I need a job." So it was a 6-month wait. Well, not really 6 months. It was like 3 months, and they created Patsy in January on the boardwalk scene in Asbury Park with the dream with that bullet in his head, and Tony thinks it's Patsy. And before that, in that same episode, the last episode of season 2, Patsy comes in with the fur coat, and I do a little I do a little Marx Brothers kind of stuff up in and out. And then I'm out of there. And then he came back. But I didn't know if I was coming back as Patsy. I didn't know if he was going to be a character that was going to return. And I told my youngest son, James, I went to Italy that summer for about 3 weeks. And I told James, no matter what it is, no matter what time, if they call you up, call me. I want to know whether I'm coming back or not. And sure enough, during the summer in August, they called me and they let me back. Now, I have done a lot of day player work on Law and Order and all the New York episodics and some of the LA episodics, but I never did a big, many episodes. So when I went for my first fitting, there was a rack of clothes, and they called it a closet. They said, there's your closet. I guess you're going to do a lot of work next season. So there was about 20 costumes, and I said, oh boy, this is great. So that was what happened, and that was the beginning of Philly and Patsy, and I am so grateful to be a soprano. And I am so grateful to David Chase, who's a genius. He created the greatest TV show in the history of television. And I'm so grateful to the fans and to the fans that keep coming. And as they grow up, new people keep watching it, and people who have seen it watch it over and over again. And you can get a million things from you can watch it over and over again, and you can see something new in every scene. So that was a little history of Patsy. One other part about Patsy was when we created Patsy with the fur coat, John Patterson, rest his soul, was the director, wonderful director. And John had the knack. The greatest knack for a director is to make an actor feel like the actor made the decision. Meanwhile, he knew exactly what he wanted you to do. Now, I didn't realize this till 2 years ago. This is something that went on for 20 years. He looked at me and he said, Danny, what are you thinking? And I said, I'm thinking glass. So he said, me too. I'm thinking glasses too. So he sends the prop guy into the truck, and he comes out with 3 pairs of glass. Black horn rim, another funny looking pair, and then the gold ones that I wear. And he says, which ones you like? Now, obviously, I don't want the black horn rim because I don't like the way they look. The other ones, I don't even remember what they were. I said, no, I'll take those. And so we chose them. Till 3 years ago, one day I woke up and I said, that son of a gun. He sent the guy out with 3 pairs of glasses. 2 of them were bad, and one was the one he wanted me to pick. I said, Jesus. And I wasn't that recognizable without the glasses. People associated Patsy with the glasses. So when I would go to events and everything, I wore the glasses. Actually, my oldest son said to me, Dad, you're an actor. I said, no. They want Patsy. If I don't have the glasses on, it's Dan Grimaldi. They want to see Patsy. They want to see Dan Grimaldi. So then I thought to myself, they were identical twins. I didn't need the glasses, but the glasses helped to create 2 very different characters. They actually helped me too. Costume helps an actor to create the character that he's trying to create. It helps add to the character, and those glasses did add a lot to me, to my portrayal.
It's definitely one of my favorite characters on the show.
Thank you.
So you're in 47 episodes. Do you have what was your favorite one to be in?
Well, my favorite episode, and this is also, of course, I'm a storyteller, so we got to have stories. So this is the scene where he pledges allegiance to Tony, and they're in the room, and Tony asks him, did you get rid of the grief? And did you get rid of the grief? And he asks him like 5 times, and every time he asks him, Patsy in his head is just saying, I would like right now to put a bullet right through your freaking brain because you killed my brother. I know you did. And he asked him again and again and again. I mean, Tony was not, he could be pretty mean at times. And that was pretty mean to do that, but he was testing it. And that was my favorite scene because I felt that you felt Patsy's grief, his sense of revenge, and in a sense, the sadness that he had to work for this guy because that's the code that they have, which was, it's not personal, it's business. Now, the funny part about that scene was, at the end of the scene, we had worked 14 hours, and Jimmy, who tomorrow is the anniversary of Jimmy's death, rest in peace. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. He was a wonderful man and a dynamite actor, but a wonderful man. And we shot his close-up, and then they didn't have time for my close-up. So we came back another day, and Jimmy told them, and this is the way he was. Jimmy said, no matter what time it is, no matter when it is, when Danny's shooting his close-up, I'm going to be there. They didn't tell him. It was 6 a.m. It was a month later. And that's the magic of TV and movies, is they match the lighting, they match the time, And the assistant director actually imitated Jimmy's voice almost to a T. So it was wonderful. So my close-up and his close-up, whenever you see that scene, anytime I'm close-up and he's close, we're not there. We're in a different place, you know. The same thing happened with Gloria in the car. Gloria in the car was also similar to that. For my close-up, the assistant director was in the car. So we match it, but the assistant director, he matched his voice. I was astonished. Because, you know, as an actor, the other actors' attributes are very important to you because you work off them. And Jimmy's voice was very important to me to work off. And but at this, I have to, you know, unfortunately, I forget his name, but he was terrific. And it was like 6 a.m, and we shot it. And Jimmy, of course, was upset when he heard about it, but they didn't want him to come in. He worked so many hours, so many days, and rest his soul, you know. The show was him, you know. I mean, Chase is genius, but Jimmy's portrayal was magical, as was Edie's and Mikey's and Andreas, and of course most of the cast.
Yeah, I love Mike. I think he's probably one of my favorite actors of all time. He played an incredible role as well.
Okay, yeah,
he was incredible on that.
About him, I played his father in his first play called I forget the name of the play, but I was his father in his first play, and he always told me he was a big fan of Don't Go in the House, and he was so enamored of me that I was going to play his father, and so I know him since he's like 21 years old. And when we auditioned, I was part of the auditioning process. We auditioned him. We knew he was great, and he was going to be a star. And he was only 21 years old. You know, he writes, he directs, he does everything. Michael is a tremendous talent.
Yeah, he's awesome. And you and him were at each other a bit on the show as well. Your character and his character, they always had like a tension.
Yeah. Well, I get passed over because of the little piss ass that he was. Yeah. I'm a soldier. I'm a good loyal soldier. Been around for a long time, and Tony passes me over for this little kid. You know, so that didn't go over too big for Pat.
Yeah,
not at all.
Tony was definitely cruel to Pat.
Yes, he could be.
Yeah, especially that scene you're saying before, when he's let me hear you say it. You could just feel it. And another scene I love with you is,
as I said, he repeated it three or four times. I mean, once was enough. You know, you put the grief behind you. Yes, I did. And tell me that you put it again and again and again. And you know, each time he said it was like one more bullet was going in his head. I mean, and of course, Patsy doesn't show too much, so that's why I love that. Of course, the scene with Gloria in the car was of course, many people thought it was the scariest scene in the whole show because of the way he just went home and then got yelled at by his wife to buy the Monagot, and he went to the grocery store, and then he would have put a bullet in her head and then walked away and went home and it just showed the depravity and the lack of remorse that these mob men had and have, if they not many exist anymore. The Italian mob anyway. Thank God.
That's definitely.
And Annabella Shore, an incredible actress, and she was wonderful. And again, what I got from her, I mean, that's, you know, I always say all I had to do was say the lines and get out of it, because she was magnificent. She's been magnificent so many things for so long. God bless her.
Yeah,
I got to work with a lot of good people.
So what advice would you give to someone who's just starting out like you were, or what advice would you give to yourself if you could go back in time?
Advice would I give a young actor just starting out? Don't become an actor. I just did a charity event with a young actor from high school going to college, studying, and that's what I say to them: don't. But if they really have the passion, learn the craft, train, learn the craft, and then spend 2 years or 3 years. When I taught acting, I told my actors spend 2 or 3 years in New York doing off Broadway. Doing student films, get as much experience as you can, get out there if you can, and then go to LA for 7 years. And in those 7 years, in that 10-year period, after the 10 years, evaluate and see if you want to keep going. Because in New York, you'll get the training and you'll get the craft. In LA, you'll get the work. And so, to me, I'm a stage actor, so I love stage. I do stage. I mean, I did 6, 7 plays in the last 5 years. I still do plays in small houses. I love the stage. And the trained actor loves the stage, but the money, you can't really make a living at stage acting. So the money is in film and TV. So, and most of the jobs, now we have work in New York, but most of the jobs are in LA. So I advise my students to go out there for 7 and plan on 7 years. Don't plan on being there for a month and a half. You know, you have to put the time in, and after that time, evaluate. I had a friend. His first name was David, and we were in acting class together. And we would meet in the streets making rounds in New York City. And every time we saw each other, we would bump into each other and we'd say, 1 more 10 years, 1 more 10 years. In other words, this is a long, long haul. I mean, you're in it for life. If you're a real true actor, you can't get out of it. You know, the Pacino line, they keep pulling me back in. That's what happens all the time. You don't know how many times I went for a little while, and then all of a sudden somebody called me up and said, Dan, you want to go play? Okay, I'm back. All right, I'm back. And I never had long hiatuses, but I had some mental hiatuses sometimes, because when the work didn't come your way, which it becomes very frustrating. But then somebody would call me and say, let's go do a play. And I said, okay, let's go. And I love it. The magic of being on a stage, as I was describing to this young man, the magic of being on a stage is incredible, because there are 3 people in your head. There's you, there's the person, there's the character, and there's the actor. And every once in a moment, the 3 of them come together, and it's magical. It's incredible. Also, I did a play, the same play that I played Michael's father, Half Deserted Streets, written by Bob Moresco, who wrote Crash and won an Academy Award. And it was about a longshoreman who I played, and his son had these dreams, and he didn't think his father had any dreams. But everybody dreams, everybody in the world. And I had a monologue, and they were all longshoremen in the audience, and teamsters, big burly men. They would come to the play because they were all from Hell's Kitchen. And they would come to the play. And when I came to that, just before that monologue, I knew I was going to make them cry, these big men, because it was all about dreams. And the sense that you have, it's like, ha ha, here goes, you're going to cry. and you create this monologue, which Bobby wrote, which was beautiful, which I used as an audition piece many times. You create this moment, and you bring it to these people, and they feel it. And that's a special thing. Where film and TV, it's a different thing. The audience is the crew, and many times you get applause from the crew, and many times you can feel their approval, but it's not the same as what you do. It's a 360 in stage. The actor gives from the stage, the audience receives and gives back. And so it's a wonderful experience. The other thing I would tell a young actor, if they really are wishy-washy or don't have the passion, it's to do community theater. You'll get the same amount of satisfaction, and you won't have to put up with the life that an actor has to put up with, which is the frustrations of the business. So community theater is great. I think you become, you work for 6-8 weeks. Everybody in the community knows you. You're a star, and then you go back to your job. You live, and then 2 or 3 months later, there's another play going on, and you do it again, and you don't have to put up with the frustrations and the angst that we professional actors have to put up. When you go out and you try to create your own stuff, and but you're in a weight state, a lot of weight state, and every time you do something, you think you're going to move up. It's not a corporation. You're not moving up. You're not getting promoted. You're as good as your last job, but your last job may not happen for 2 years. It's just the way it is. And but I'm grateful that I got the I've worked more than most, and I'm very grateful for that. And I am truly blessed by being a soprano.
Oh yeah, definitely. But you're well deserved too. You're talented. You've deserved it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
What's been the best experience you've had throughout your career?
Throughout my whole career. Well, it has to be The Sopranos. I mean, not only because it's the greatest show ever written, and that that I had 47 episodes, but the total experience. First of all, Chase was a genius, and he was a wonderful man, and he liked my work, and he elevated me to be a regular, which was wonderful, a wonderful experience. You worked with wonderful people. The catering was good. I mean, the whole experience, they would call me Mr. Sunshine, because every time I got on the set, I would just laugh and smile, because I was just happy to be working. I mean, it's the happiest feeling in the world. I'm a member of the Actors Studio, and the world-renowned actor studio. I've been a member since 1988, and there's so many talented people there, and many of them do not get the opportunity to work and get paid for it, and they are very talented. And so I feel very grateful that I've been able to do that. And The Sopranos, of course, was the best experience I've ever had, as a professional actor.
Yeah. Who's an actor that you look up to?
Well, of course, Marlon Brando. I mean, he, to us, in our generation, he was the greatest actor that we've ever had. When you watch his work, it's incredible what he was able to do. The truth he was able to bring to every character he ever played. Yeah. And the modern day actors, the ones that are still alive today, Meryl Streep is beyond great. I mean, I don't think the woman's ever had an untruthful moment in anything she's ever did, on stage, in film, on TV, anything. She is the paramount actor of our day. Of course, the British are all trained, so I'm always jealous of watching British productions because they're all trained. The American actors not are all trained, and so they excel. If you watch a British production, the smallest character is always thinking, always listening, always doing something. But American acting is a different breed. But Meryl Streep, it would be she's my idol. I mean, I've never met the woman, and I would love to work opposite her. And I truly do believe she's never had an untruthful moment. She's just so amazing. Special. And of course, Brando is the greatest actor, maybe the greatest one we've ever had. So those are my two. And of course, Pacino, and Pacino is also favorite. Hoffman, but Streep and Brando, I would say are my favorite. And the ones I look up to and admire.
It's funny, before when you said about that Pacino line, and you said once you're in the acting life, that's the first thing I thought of too when you said that.
Yeah, they just pull you back in. That's what if this is your passion, if this is your destiny. See, I believe it was my destiny from that moment. Watching those people, I felt that this was my destiny. The mathematical part of me, and a lot of people don't realize this, but creativity is mathematical. I mean, music is mathematical, creativity is mathematical. So that part of the brain works towards creativity. But if you have the passion and you have the destiny, sometimes it's a curse too. I would say that Strasberg gave me a lot of praise and scenes I did, and many times I would say, why did you praise me? Why didn't you say I stunk so I could quit? Because you can't quit when people tell you you're pretty good at this job. So I could never. I quit for an hour and I quit for a day. Once I quit for an hour, once I quit for a day. Yeah. So it didn't work.
Back in. What's your favorite three movies? Time.
My favorite three movies. Okay, It's a Wonderful Life. Okay.
I watch that every Christmas.
They're all Christmas movies. It's a Wonderful Life, Christmas Carol, and what's the other? Jesus, Wonderful Life, Christmas Carol,
James.
And It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
The one with Natalie Wood, when they prove Santa Claus to say, what's his name? What's the name of that movie? Jesus. Well, that's the third one.
Yeah. I can't think of the name, yeah.
I think it was Maureen Sullivan and then Natalie Wood, and they proved that Santa Claus is real, and it'll come to me before this ends. Okay, so I love Christmas, and I love Christmas movies. Those are my favorite because they bring such joy and such hope.
Yeah, I think It's a Wonderful Life, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, it's my all-time favorite, and Christmas Carol. I could watch that with the old one with what the hell is his name? You see, I'm having all these senior moments, but it'll come back. I don't like it. Not that I don't like it, but I always want to watch the one from the 50s with what's his name? I don't remember. But Scrooge.
What music do you listen to?
Motown. Hey, 60s. That's me.
Yeah.
Motown. That's what I used to dance to, and that's what I love to listen to. Still listen to it. Awesome. Motown's my favorite music.
Yeah. When you're not acting, what can people find you doing?
Well, I teach college, and I have a house out in the Hamptons, and my beautiful wife Lisette has transformed it into a garden Palace, and so I'm out here. I'm out in the Hamptons or in Brooklyn. I exercise a lot. I try to anyway. I eat a lot, so I have to exercise a lot. I teach college. I still teach. Of course, we're remote. We're now hybrid, 1 or 2 days a week. So it's a very rewarding job at this stage of my life. Whatever acting jobs come my way, I do them. We now, as Sopranos, we sign memorabilia and we make appearances and we do interviews, and so that's a part of what I do. I have grandchildren, I have friends, and so it's a busy life. It's a busy life even now.
Wow,
and it will be until the day I die. Yeah, yes, absolutely. I don't believe in retirement, so I'll do everything. I also teach acting to the Wounded Warriors. We've been doing it remotely for the last couple of years, but in September, I think we're going to go back to Manhattan. I'm in Brooklyn. They have a place in Brooklyn, and we're going to teach, in person, which I think would be a lot better. But they love it. They love the sessions. We do 3 sessions every quarter, and it's very rewarding. They're all warriors. They're people who have given sacrifice for our country, and I'm honored to be able to give them some training in acting.
That's amazing that you do.
It's great, and I do a lot of charities have diminished, but I golf. I golf at many charities, and golf is 5 hours of humiliation for me because I'm a golfer until I became a soprano. So I'm terrible. My swing only goes halfway up. I have rotated cuff in my left shoulder. I hit the ball straight 50 yards. Now I'm the worst actor. I'm the worst celebrity golfer in these local tournaments because all the other celebrities are football players and baseball players and basketball players, and they golf all the time and they hit the ball 300 yards. But I tell my team, I say, listen, I will give you 2 good putts, because when I was a kid, we had miniature golf, so I'm not a bad putter. So I said, I'll give you 2 good putts, but that's it. I only hit the ball straight. But it took me a while, and I realized golf is a very difficult game. And I hit the ball, because I hit it straight, better than at least one guy on every single swing. So somebody hits it in the woods, hits it here, and I hit it, boom! I hit it 100 yards straight down the middle. So but we have a good time. They love the stories about the Sopranos. They're always wonderful people, and I have a great time doing it. And then we have a dinner and everything else. But it is humiliating, because when I first start, I have to tell them, look, I'm the worst golfer. I'm the worst celebrity golfer you've ever been with. So enjoy.
Yeah, they win. Look, on the Sopranos, I want to ask, what do you think happened at the end?
Okay, that's a common question. None of us knew. We all thought our cable went on. I don't think anybody did believe that cable. But months before, not that I knew anything or that I'm brilliant or anything, but I said to myself, how do you end The Sopranos? You just end it. There's no way to end The Sopranos. Yeah. You just have to end it. And that's what he did. He just said goodbye. They built it up very nicely, but they're eating burgers or whatever, and it's over. Onion rings, and it's over. And the philosophy I thought Chase had, which I thought I heard, was that they are going to go on living. We're just not watching him anymore.
Yeah.
He believed in portraying life as it was. He did not tie up anything. I mean, we had the Russian, we had rapists. We had so many areas that he did not tie up. Yep. Now, normal TV ties things up in an hour. They solve problems. It's crazy. I mean, if you believe it, it takes 42 minutes to solve a crime. Doesn't happen. He left things hanging just like they were in life. Yeah. And I think he's never said it, but I thought I heard it early on, was that his philosophy was, they go on living, we're not watching them anymore. Thank you very much, folks. That's it. We're done. Yeah. And so to me, I don't call TV and film art, but art is a subjective experience where you get what you get, I get what I get. And when that screen went black, everybody got whatever they got. Yeah. And so it was an art. It was a moment of art where it was up to the interpretation, the subjective interpretation of the viewer. And everybody has their own story. They have the guy. They have the guy who's sitting at the counter who's the assassin. This guy's coming out of the bathroom. You know, somebody's coming out of the jukebox. I mean, it's like, you know, the onion rings are poisoned. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. But everybody has their own opinion, and some people didn't like it. I think they didn't like that Sopranos ended. I mean, I don't know what they wanted. They wanted the Russian to come out of the bathroom and the rapist to be in the booth next door, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But we didn't tie up loose ends, and that's what in life. In your life, there are loose ends that have never been tied up. In mine, the same way.
Yeah, I hope they never do like answer it either. I think it ended perfectly. I love it. It just lives forever.
They put words in his mouth in all these articles that he said this, he said that. I don't think he's ever said a word. I don't think he's ever said anything about Tony. We know, I mean, the assumption is he's a head of a mob. He's going to die, and he's going to die violently. He's not going to lay in his bed and put his hands down and have an aneurysm. He's going to get a bullet to the head. So, I mean, we all know that. So, I mean, if Chase has said that, I think that's something that's very, very, very normal for us to imagine.
I think everyone would assume that. It's just, I think it was perfect. I remember when it did cut to black, I thought something was wrong.
Yeah, we all did.
Yeah,
I did.
It was just amazing. He just got everybody.
Yep. And he didn't mean to. I mean, he didn't mean to create that. He meant to create that it's over. You know, how do I end it? What was he supposed to do? How was he supposed to end it?
The end.
I mean, you can't kill him because you want to make movies maybe later, you know.
Yeah.
So you gotta keep him alive.
Yeah.
Sadly he died.
Yeah.
You know, sadly he died in real life.
Yeah, that was sad. And I've never heard a bad word about him. Everyone always says good things about James Gandolfini.
Oh no, he was really truly. He was just a good man. He was just a good man and a really great actor. He really was. I mean, all the things he's done, if you see all his work, it's terrific. I mean, Tony Soprano was superior work, but he's done that kind of work in many, many movies, many TV and on stage. He was a really, really good man and generous man.
Yeah, I've heard that. Who's your favorite person to work with besides him?
I only worked briefly. But Edie Falco is a spectacular actress. She's one of our best actresses. You know, I talked about Meryl Streep, but I still think Meryl Streep is beyond comparison. But Edie is a superior actress. She is a wonderful and a humble human being. The last scene we shot together, I was standing next to her. And I think it was when Dominic was singing, Uncle Junior was singing, and she said to me, "Danny, I'm never going to work." And I said, "Edie, you're a star. You're going to be a star." I said, "I'm never going to work again." Not you. Wow. But she was so humble, so sweet, just a wonderful, wonderful woman. And it was a pleasure to work opposite her. We had a couple of little interactions, but mostly just watching her work and being around her. She was she after her and Tony were a couple. You know, her and Jimmy. They created a couple that was and it was said by people whose mob wives, women who were married to mobsters, that she was the best mob wife ever of all time in any media. Wow. That she did the mob wife to perfection. So I love Edie Falco, and I think she is a magnificent actress and a humble, gentle, generous, wonderful human woman.
She did an incredible job. She doesn't get enough praise. So it's awesome.
Well, she was in Tony, Jimmy's shadow. So she was the sidekick in a sense. But they really were a couple. They really, I mean, those scenes, when they were getting divorced, I mean, they were 100. They both helped each other get to great heights in creating truth.
Yeah, especially that. I think it was the Whitecaps episode when getting divorced. That was incredible. The two of them. It's just unbelievable. And Mikey and Dre are the same thing. I mean, they were a couple, and they both elevated each other, and they both did wonderful work. Yeah, it's just the amount of talented actors on the one show coming together. I don't think you'll ever see it again.
It was a throwback. If you go back and look at the old movies, they were always 4 or 5 stars, really good actors. And if you watch the British, like I said, the British are all trained. And I've been watching a lot of Turkish series too. They're all trained. So you get trained actors. And in The Sopranos, we had some really well-trained, well-talented, exceptional actors.
I've seen you also you did some voice work on the game Mafia, the Mafia game.
Yeah. I did some voiceover work for a video game. My memory of it is very, very, very faint. It was a long time ago, and I never heard it. I never saw the game, so. Yeah, I'm not a gamer. My grandson's a gamer. I'm not a gamer.
Yeah, I was wondering how it works.
Grandpa said, "Hey, Grandpa, you want a video game?" I said, "Well, let me know if you see it. I'll listen to it." But again, it's a faint memory.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a job. It was a job.
Yeah, that's it. Do you still keep in contact with anyone from the show?
What's that?
Do you still keep in contact?
Yeah. Jason Sabone and Bobby Finaro and I, we do sports memorabilia together. Big Pussy and Johnny Sack, and Vinny Pastore and Vince Cutola. See them quite often. So we bump into each other a lot, and we still at charity events, at certain things that we do, events and so we keep in contact. Steve Sharippa and Mikey Imperioli, I'm in contact with, and over the phone and through text, and so it was a great group. It was a great group, and whenever we see each other, it's a very warm coming together.
Yeah, I love Steve too. He is awesome.
Oh, Steve Sharippa?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Steve and Van Zandt, both Steves.
Yeah.
We have both of them. Yeah. So they both did great jobs. They both did great jobs.
Yeah, what do you think happened to Patsy in the end? I always like to think he stepped up, is getting in the inner circle.
Well, that's what I think. I mean, Patsy was voted the most likely to assassinate Tony and take over the group. That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think eventually they would kill him. Eventually, somehow he would have got the okay to take over the group and assassinate the boss. Yeah, I think
he's single multiplier tribe.
That's what I want to think, because that's what would have made him happy.
Yeah,
was to get revenge for his brother.
Yeah,
and move up at the same time.
Take over him and Paulie.
Yep, that's what was left.
Yeah,
me and Paulie and Van Zandt was in the hospital, and that was it.
Yeah, you're the last people standing. Yeah, yes, Van Zandt went out. You were with him in the car. Right. People said I was a coward. I said no. I was a wise old man running for his life. Yeah, you were still shooting back, Albert. Yeah, I was shooting. Yeah. But why stand there and get killed? Are you crazy? Hey, you had a family to take over. I had to get in the last season too. I mean, the last episode was yet to come. Yeah. I had to be standing. Yeah, so the last few episodes were some of the best. Yeah, I mean, it was the whole series. I mean, it was 7 seasons, so I mean, there were a couple that. But what it was is we were always competing with ourselves. Yeah. So if you watched an episode the next week, you compared the last episode. You didn't compare us to another show. You compare us to ourselves. And anytime people didn't like an episode, it was in comparison to other episodes of The Sopranos. So that's a big feather in our cap. Yeah, we were compared to ourselves and no one else. Yeah, definitely. I think you've got a lot of the most memorable lines as well. I've got some good ones. Yeah. My fans remember them. I have a hard time remembering most of them, but my fans remember a lot of them. They do. Yeah. The cinematic one is I think, the best. That's my favorite. That's a good one. This is the last place you see, and it won't be cinematic. That's a good line. That's a really good line. And it's over for the little guy. That's the other one I like a lot. It's over for the little guy. That was with you and Artie Pasquale, was it? Yeah, right. Me and Artie Pasquale. Yeah, we're good friends too. We're in contact. He just had his 80th birthday. Wow. And we're in contact. And Artie's a tremendous guy. Tremendous guy. He was great. Yeah, you had that with Chrissy, and you gave me a look. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was funny. Yeah, I had good lines. He wrote good lines for me, and
like I said, it was fun. And, all you had to do show up and say the lines. The writers were spectacular. The writing was, and the best writing in the history of television since the 50s. And in the 50s, playwrights, Patty Chayefsky wrote for Broadway, playwrights wrote for the TV. So when TV was in New York in the 50s, it was so well written, and The Sopranos was better written than any TV show ever. And it was about the writing. Good actors can't really help bad writing, but they can elevate good writing. We can help bad writing a little bit, but we can elevate good writing and make it better. And that writing was fantastic.
I think it's the best show that's ever been made.
It is. It is the best TV show in history. There's no question.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, we shot it. Jay shot it like a movie. I mean, we took 14 days an episode, 12, 14 days. Most shows are 7 to 9. We were 12 to 14. So we shot pieces at a time. And the product, he would not let the standard of the product fall. And that's why he took the year off, because he had to get things back together and figure out what he was going to do. He was the genius behind the whole thing. And again, grateful to be on it, and I'm grateful that you've had me on the show to interview me too.
Oh, yeah, I can't believe I'm talking to you. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I just remember. Yeah, I was telling John Fury the same thing. I was watching The Sopranos with my dad as a teenager, and that was our favorite show. I got my Sopranos cap on too.
Yeah, I saw that. That's all.
And another scene I love was when he was sitting around, and I think there's.
Oh yeah. Fight.
Yeah.
Oh, the fight, hitting the black guy with the pipe.
Yeah.
Jimmy said that was the best hit in the whole series. It was. I grew up in Brooklyn, so I mean, I was a sports, played a lot of baseball, basketball, football. So I got into my share of fights, and when I did that scene, all I wanted to do was I wanted to make sure nobody knew it was coming, and I think I accomplished that. I didn't think anybody knew that pipe was coming. And then they added the sound of an aluminum baseball bat, which made it even worse. Boom! And funny thing was, when we did it the first time, it was a dowel surrounded by some plastic, so to make it. And the thing broke, and I thought I cut his eye, and I was so upset. I got upset, and he was a big guy, and he went down, and the dowel broke, and luckily nothing happened. But then then we rehearsed it a couple of times to make sure it was going to be good. But I think if you watch the scene, I think it's hard to tell that Patsy's going to hit him with the pipe.
Yeah,
that's the shock of it was what I was trying to accomplish, and then the sound makes it even 10 times better.
Yeah, no, you got it. No, that was amazing. Every scene you're in, you killed it.
Oh, thank you. We try. Again, writing was. Well, you have to have good writing to be able to. I mean, bad writing you can get by, but good writing just helps your acting a tremendous amount. You can't hurt it. You can only make it better. So
yeah.
That's great.
Did you ever get approached by real mobsters?
No comment.
Okay.
I grew up in Brooklyn. We grew up around all this stuff.
Yeah.
We grew up around all the mob, the Italian mob, Italian American mob. So we grew up around them. They were in the same neighborhoods. They worked there. So yeah, we knew people.
Yeah. I did an interview last night with an ex-mobster, Larry Muzza, and he said, I asked him what movie or TV show he thought was the most accurate to the life that he was in, and he said, without a doubt, Sopranos.
Yeah.
So that's his favorite. Yeah.
It is a true depiction. It really is.
Yeah.
Especially the small details and sometimes the smallness of the life. I think it's not such a big grandiose life. It's a day-to-day grind sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're glad that they're all put away and not with us.
Yeah.
Because they're not good people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. What are your plans for the rest of the year? Are you working on any new projects, film?
I did a TV show. I did 2 TV shows during the summer, and I have a possible film coming up. Other than that, that's it. Just waiting for hoping some stage work will come up, but I have a possible film and a possible series. But everything is possible. So we'll wait till it happens.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see you in a project with John Fiore and like Robert Finaro.
Yeah, but great guys.
Yeah, well, thanks for taking the time to talk to me. Great having you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for being such a big fan in Australia. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much, Thomas, and I really appreciate it. And I thank you for being such a big fan. And I've enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah, likewise. I'll let you know when it's up. And
okay.
It won't be cinematic.
Okay. I hope it will be cinematic. Okay, get some sleep.
Yeah. Thanks.